When asked by the teacher, "What does it take to be a saint?" little Kevin responded, "You have to be dead." So what does it take to be a saint in the world? After all, that's why we're here, to gather to celebrate the saints. But what does it take to be a saint? Well, if you look at all the saints, is there a unique characteristic that's common to every saint? Is it intelligence? So St. John Vianney, who was the patron saint of priests, almost didn't become a priest because he couldn't pass his Latin exam. St. Thomas Aquinas, one of the greatest philosophers the world has known, was referred to as the dumb ox when he was a child. St. Christina Mirabilis, the astonishing, was developmentally impaired, and yet she became a spiritual advisor to rulers and peasants alike. St. Joseph Cupertino, he needed a literal miracle to pass his theology exam. So it's not intelligence. Maybe it's good looks. St. Rita of Cascia, she experienced on her own body, on her forehead, one of the wounds caused by Christ's crown of thorns. She bore an open wound on her face for the last decades of her life. It was ugly and it smelled. So it's not good looks. Is a unique characteristic of a saint a great personality, someone who's charismatic? I bet you didn't know that St. Padre Pio was ornery and temperamental. He wasn't a pleasant person to be around despite his great spiritual advancements and his wonderful insights into the spiritual life. He was harsh and demanding, especially in the confessional. So it wasn't a great personality, or it isn't. The unique characteristic of saints, it isn't wealth, nor is it worldly success. We have canonized saints who have been empresses. We've also canonized those who are hermits and beggars. The characteristic shared by all the saints, friends, is one of mature holiness. But it's certainly not any of those that I said. So what is it that's a unique characteristic of saints? Well, let me share this story to help answer the question. So a mother and her daughter were visiting some churches in Europe. And while visiting one beautiful cathedral with big stained glass windows, they entered the church and the little girl was drawn to the center aisle, where there were magnificent colors of red and blue, greens and yellows just shining and sparkling on the aisle floor. Finally, she gazes upward to see where the light is coming from. The daughter asks her mom, "Mom, who are those people in the windows, the stained glass windows?" The mother, who wasn't familiar with the church, said, "Sweetie, I don't know." After a few seconds, the little girl goes up to the mother and says, "Mommy, I know who those people are." And so the mother, in great amazement, asks, "Well, who are they, sweetie?" The daughter replies, "They are the ones who let the light shine through them." They are the ones who let the light shine through them. Friends, saints are those people who allow the light of Christ to shine through them and onto the world. Holiness, being a saint, is certainly a mature friendship with Jesus Christ, a friendship so deep and so strong that it puts us in a position where we can't help but transmit his divine life and divine love and divine light into the world. Today's feast, friends, isn't really about the canonized saints, first and foremost. It is about the good and holy people who have ever lived. None of us, I'm sure, is expecting to be a canonized saint. We don't fantasize about one day the Pope declaring that we are a saint and a patron of this or that. I would imagine most of us don't expect our picture to be revered on the walls of great churches. Not for a moment do we imagine anyone saying prayers for us or preserving a piece of our relic. However, the feast today is reminding us of our deep down calling to become better people than we currently are, by allowing God's light to shine through us with great radiance. For sure, today is a day when you and I celebrate and remember the great men and women who have gone before us. But we don't do so for their sakes. We do it for our sake, so that we can become the ones who allow the light of Christ to shine through us into a dark, desperate world. So friends, do we allow the light of Christ to shine through us?